Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. That means once again we have, of course, AEW Dynamite, where we begin with the first ever round robin tournament, the Continental Classic. We are going to feature three matches on this one, which is going to be fascinating. So, we're going to see exactly who is going to go becoming their first wins on this tournament. And we have, of course, a three-way match for the women's division: Ruby Soho, Sky Blue, and Anna Jay, and plenty other things taking place. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing GLEAT's latest show that took place on the 18th of November, G Pro Wrestling version 65, with more of the Burn Your Heart series. Featuring the main event, the G Infinity tag titles are defended. The Saito brothers defend the titles against the members of Bulk Orchestra, Kazuma Sakamoto, and Quiet Storm. Will Bulk Orchestra dethrone the huge behemoths of the Saito brothers? We'll just have to find out. And of course, we move on with Tokyo Pro Wrestling with, of course, the Mountaintop 2023 that features the main event for the International Princess title. Will the big kaiju Shoko Nakajima dethrone the monster of the wasteland, Max the Impaler? We'll just have to find out as well. And of course, we cap it up with some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions they're throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, any wrestlers that have either been signed or departing from their respective promotions, injured wrestlers, the whole enchilada. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, championships, storylines, whatever we want to get our hands on. We also do some more news updates in case of unable to put it on this particular episode, and other cool stuff on here. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on the subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool features on this channel. So if you also like this episode, please give us a like. So click on the like button or leave us a nice comment down below. Now, let's begin with the Japanese promotion GLEAT with G Pro Wrestling version 65, Burn Your Heart. Now, it opened up with trios actions. We have the Yans family, consistent of Yusuke Kodama, Issei Onizuka, and Takanori Ito. They take on Yu Isuka, Kaz Hayashi, and Minoru Tanaka. Now, I know that the Yans family are a very fun, experienced team to enjoy, but however, when it comes to guys like Hayashi and Tanaka, they are the most serious of the bunch. They like to get their job done no matter what, but they team up with the younger wrestler Yu Isuka. Now, Yu Isuka doesn't have that much success as a wrestler, doesn't get none of the big wins. But however, I have to say this match showed that he can actually pull it off. He pulled off an unbelievable. I couldn't tell was it a leg lock or a ankle lock because it was. I couldn't tell from watching, but he pulled off an amazing win by forcing Onizuka to tap out just like that, giving him a very good win on this one. I can't wait to see what this guy can do in the future. Now, next match we have singles action. We have Tonsho taking on Check Shimatani. Pretty good match, not gonna lie, but it was a pretty interesting one. But one thing I did like is, of course, Toncho. He is very hasn't had that one singles win that he needs, but he was very close in winning this particular match until Check Shimatani applied a victory roll when he was trying to reversed a somewhat of a move that Toncho was about to pull off, but of course Toncho did not see it coming, so um, Shimatani applied a victory roll. 1, 2, 3, it was done. Next match, we have JD Lee teaming with Tetsuya Izushi. They take on the members of Black Generation International (BGI), consistent of Keishi Sato and Katara Suzuki. Now, interesting enough about this match, it's the first time that both Izushi and Saito are in fact opposite sides. Now, if you guys remember clearly from since I've been watching this particular promotion, Sato and Izushi, they used to be part of a team known as 60 Seconds until they were disbanded. However, Sato was not having the love with Izushi because, of course, they lost to Bulk Orchestra. He was angry until he was invited by Kaito Ishida to join. However, this is their first encounter since then, opposite sides. Now, I know that Izushi had his fair issues towards Ishida, who criticized him countless times. But however, how would Izushi respond with Sato? Well, I have to say it did a pretty good one until Izushi applied a Kimura lock onto him, forcing the tap. So this is a huge win for Izushi. However, I don't know what Ishida would think of this, but however, nonetheless, it was a good win for him. Next up, we got the Joshi wrestlers. Unagi Sayaka teaming up with Itsuki Aoki to take on Diamond Egoist, Aoi, and of course, Michiko. Now, as you know, Michiko has been at war with Unagi since she first arrived in GLEAT. She convinced um, EOI to join her instead. And of course, EOI is determined to destroy Unagi no matter what. However, unfortunately, that did not happen because apparently she was the one who got the pinfall and lost to Unagi, which is an embarrassment. But of course, which surprisingly, Hosokawa, who was supposed to be out on injury, was there being second to Unagi and Aoki. Now, I don't know what she said to her, but I'm sure that she apologized from the last encounter they had together. But of course, seeing AOI losing to her, she's vowed to destroy it. But I think right now, from what I can see from the body language, I'm not sure if Michiko is satisfied with the fact that her own protege lost to someone who she hates. So basically, I think EOI feels that she's screwed up. So I don't know what the future will hold with her. Now, on a side note, I did not know something with EOI. She, in fact, was carrying the Queen of GTO, which is the top title of the Joshi side of Just Tap Out, which is Taka Michinoku's promotion. I did not know she won that. I know she has preceded that belt before, but yeah, interesting enough. Now, our next match, we have Yuya Suzumu and Soma Watanabe taking on the other members of Black Generation International (BGI), Hartley Jackson and Kaito Ishida. Now, you probably would have assumed because Kaito Ishida is so good, he is so vicious and determined to prove the win, it would have been a much easier thing for him to win. However, I often said time and time that I felt that Suzumu and Watanabe are a much stronger, capable tag team since they teamed up. But surprisingly, they were able to separate and try to take out the big person out, which is, of course, Hartley Jackson. It was, of course, Watanabe with the 450 splash that allowed him to pick up the win. I'm sure Ishida's not happy. Right now, all matches involving the Black Generation International were all losses. And this has got to be an embarrassment for Ishida, who is determined to prove why BGI are the most dominating faction within GLEAT. Well, we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match is our semi-final event, semi-main event. We have Junji teaming up with the guys from Strong Heart, El Lindaman, and T-Hawk. They take on the members of Bulk Orchestra, consisting of Galeno del Mal, Hayato Tamura, and Raichi Kawakami. Now, of course, we know the Strong Hearts and Bulk Orchestra over time. They have been rivals since GLEAT first began. That is no secret by any chance. But it was a pretty good match. However, I felt in this particular match that Junji is, in fact, the weakest link. So, luckily, that's what it was. But it was Tamara who took him out with a big lariat just like that. Now, our main event is of course, the G Infinity Tag Team titles. Bulk Orchestra, consistent of Kazuma Sakamoto and Quiet Storm, issued the challenge to the champions, Voodoo Murders, more consistently the Saito brothers, Jun and Ri. So I think was a very interesting matchup, but it showed a lot of powerhouses. And now, keep in mind, the Saito brothers have been successful as the tag team, but they haven't lost just yet. But I have to say, this would have been a very difficult task because they're facing another powerhouse group. But unfortunately, the Bulk Orchestra came up short thanks to Ree with his infamous diving body press onto onto Kazuma to pick up the win. However, as soon as the match was over, here comes who I now realize is the next challengers, Yuya Suzumu and Soma Wana. So they issued themselves as the next challengers. Now, as you know, GLEAT does not have any translation or subtitles so we can understand what they're saying. But from the way I saw what Kazuma Sakamoto did, I think he was imploring for Watanabe and Suzumu to win, to bring the titles back home. Now, the reason is this. The Saito brothers are not originally from the GLEAT promotion. They're from All Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, you probably can guess any team that faced the Saito brothers, they failed to bring back the belts. So Kazuma is as a loyal wrestler within the promotion. I'm sure he is encouraging them that they have shown why they are a strong tag team, and he's asking them, please bring these belts home. And I'm sure that's something that they're looking forward to. But however, the Saito brothers have shown why they are a dominant team. So we'll see when that happens. So I'm going to be looking forward to that match. So I think that's pretty much it right now with GLEAT. So let's move on with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Okay, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling with the Mountaintop that took place on the 19th of November. Now it opened up with, of course, with the ring announcer getting the lowdown on the matches and all stuff. But however, we had a surprise guest, and that is none other than the resident superhero, Hyper Misawa. So apparently, if you guys know this or not, Hyper Misawa has this bike that she uses all the time. Apparently, it's broken, and she's asking for fans to please help her out to donate some money to make a brand new one, but stronger and better than the last one. So I'm kind of looking forward to see how this one with this new bike is going to be. And of course, we jump in with the Up girls do the performance. Now, I don't know what song they were performing. I only know a few of them if you guys know this, but that's how it goes. Now, our first two matches are part of a tournament called the Next Generation Tournament 2023. We just entered the semifinal of this particular event. Now, our first match for this particular tournament is Shino Suzuki versus Imawari. I have to say, seeing this match was pretty interesting because these ladies are in fact are the next generation. There are new wrestlers who are now coming up, and I think that's a good thing that they're starting up. I was mostly impressed with Shino Suzuki because she has improved a lot, but she has tried multiple occasions to put a chokehold onto Iwamari, and nothing seemed to work. But I feel that Iwamari, who has a little bit more of experience towards Suzuki, because if you guys been aware, Iwamari was originally from Actress Girls, but she has grown a little bit more. But in the end, it was, of course, Iwamari with the Princess Drop. 1, 2, 3, just like that. So she's going to be advancing to the finals. Now, our second match involving the Next Generation Tournament, we have Toga versus Wakana Uehara. Now, I have seen Uehara how she has grown as well, and of course Uehara recently said that she would like to come down to the States and wrestle, like rest from her like wrestlers like Maki Ito and all that. But I have to say, Ihara Uehara actually really impresses me a lot. You know, she has shown much growth as a singles competitor, and I was so surprised that she picked up an amazing with a modified sleeper hold, and just like that, she hits to the final. So she will be facing Imawari into it. This is going to be a very interesting match when that finals comes in. So I can't wait to see that. Now our next match is a 6-woman tag team match. Team number 1, we have Pam Harajuku, Raku, and Yuki Aino. They take on Haru Kazuhiro, Mahiro Kiru, and Hyper Misawa. Now, of course, just like any other match with Hyper Misawa, she starts out with a little fun with rock, paper, scissors. So apparently, the loser was, in fact, Mahiro Kiru, and she was getting beat up by all 5 wrestlers. And then until it was overturned and all this and that. So basically, they were having a bit of a fun. But one thing that led to another is what I like in the end is how Raku was able to pick up the win when she applied Dr. Yellow and it was over. So it was very interesting, to see that. So, yeah. Now, our next match, we have another 6-woman tag team match. We have Yuna Okubo, Yuki Kamifuku. They take on our current Princess Tag Team Champions, now Kikudo, and of course Hikari Noa, better known as Free Wi-Fi. As you know, they are the current tag team champions, but I have witnessed a lot how now Kikuda has developed a bit of the mean streak and aggressiveness that she picked up with now Hikari Noa. As you know, Hikari Noa is a big fan of deathmatch wrestling, but she can bring in a bit of the aggressiveness. Something that she learned from her old mentor, and you guys know her pretty well, Natsupoi, but at the time she was known as Natsumi Maki. So I have to say it was pretty good. But however, it was Hikari No uh, with the running neck breaker drop onto Akubu to pick up to win. Now our next match is another 6-woman tag team match with Kaya Torabami, uh, Julia Nagano, and Moka Miyamoto. They take on Daisy Monkey, consistent of Arisu Endo and Suzumu. They team up with Yuki Arai. Now, I want to say this completely. I have seen how certain girls in trios actions, like Pamela Juku, Raku, and Yuki Aino, they are, to me, I feel like they should form like a group together. And I do see the same thing with Arisu Endo, Suzumu, and Yuki Arai. They seem like they got along great. Like I feel like they can be a cohesive trios teams. But it was a pretty good match. But in the end, it was Arai with the finally onto uh, Torabami to pick up the win. Now, our next match, I have to say, this is one of my favorite tag matches. We have, of course, Daydream, consistent of Miyu Watanabe and Rika Tatsumi, taking on the Magical Sugar Rabbits, Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki. Now, the reason I say they are my favorite, this is my favorite match. These two ladies are the most dominating tag team in Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling. Now, we know that the Magical Sugar Rabbits have won the tag team titles on multiple occasions. As for, of course, Daydream, they have won it only once, but they have shown they are a strong, capable tag team. And I think this is one of those team matches you definitely want. I was impressed by this. Of course, there was moments where Miyu Watanabe was so close to applying the giant swing, but it was not enough. But unfortunately, this match ended in a time limit draw for 20 minutes. I was a bit of surprised how this ended. But I'm sure that both teams are not satisfied with the results of that. But sooner or later, they may have to go back to this. I'm sure they. I just hope they can do that before Yuka Sakazaki leave, or it's never gonna happen. But we'll see. Now, our main event, we have the International Princess title. Shuko Nakajima, aka Big Kaiju, takes on the monster of the wasteland, Max the Impaler. Now, you probably would see that this match was going to be a bit more difficult for Shuko Nakajima because she is facing a much bigger competitor. You know that Max Impaler is going to break her in half, try to put a lot of pain and hurt into her. Well, that's exactly what she did. So basically, apparently Maxi Impaler applied a short range lariat to retain her title. This makes it her second victory so far. Now, in the post match, her tag team partner, someone who she chased a lot, Pam Harajuku, showed up to congratulate her on her win. However, she thought, you know what? Let's make a play for the tag team titles. So I'm sure Max was like really happy about it, knowing that why not? She can become triple champion. I mean, she is the current NWA Women's World Television Champion and the International Princess title. So she's answering, let's make this happen on December 1st. And of course, Max has no problems at all. So, but the obvious thing is, how will free Wi-Fi deal with this one? Well, that's going to be a very interesting thing. So I can't wait to see it. However, Shoko Nakajima, during a post-match comment, she talked about the new movie of Godzilla. She was in fact sending a direct message to Max the Impaler because of a phrase that came up in the movie. Now, for the record, that movie hasn't come out here in the States yet. It will soon. Um, from what Choco said about Godzilla, you may kill Godzilla, but he won't die. So basically, that's a direct message to Max the Impaler. So we'll see how that rolls up. But right now, let's move on with our final review, and that is, of course, AEW Dynamite. Okay, AEW Dynamite. As you know, we just begun the first ever big tournament known as the Continental Classic, a Raw Robin tournament that fans have been asking for years. Now, 12 competitors have been chosen on this particular match. We have Sir Strickland, Jay Lethal, Roosh, Jay White, John Moxley, Mark Briscoe. They are part of the Gold League. For the Blue League, we do have um, Brian Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Eddie Kingston, Andrade El Idolo. Who else is involved? Oh yeah, Daniel Garcia, and I forgot who's the much recent one. But yes, so we do have all of that. So we will begin with mostly with the Gold League on this particular day. Now, the way this tournament goes, you'll have a 20-minute time limit. Uh, but if the match ends in a time limit draw, there will be 1 point each. The winner will get 3 points, which is kind of weird because normally when we see tournaments like this, like in Japan, it's always 2 points. But I don't know what's the reasons for that. But of course, when you lose, you get 0. However, Tony Khan made a specific issue. All seconds will be banned from ringside. So basically, like Rush has LFI, their guys cannot be there. Jay Lethal with the dickwads will not be there, including the Bullet Club Gold, that sort of thing. But now let's begin with our very first match leading up to that for the first ever Continental Classic tournament, starting with the Gold League. We have Swerve Strickland taking on Jay Lethal. Now, you got to remember, Swerve Strickland, in the other hand, as you know, has been battered and beat up. You know for a fact he's not 100% after that Texas Death Match that happened this past Sunday. So that kind of puts it up. However, Jay Lethal, you know for a fact he'll be calculating to put a big hurting to Swerve Strickland. That's probably the game plan. I mean, he probably would have done things if he had the dickwads with him, but it wasn't. They weren't there because they were banned. But however, that wasn't enough until Swerve Strickland applied a stomp onto Jay Lethal, giving him his 3 points. So it starts out pretty good. But however, we still got a long way to go till we get to World's End. Now, in an interview with Renee Paquette, we have Orange Cassidy, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata, all three champions together. But Orange Cassidy had said he had an announcement that he wanted it, but it was interrupted by his former protege Wheeler Yuta, who decided to run his mouth and all this and that. And he was about to announce what he was going to say, but unfortunately, because of Wheeler Yuta interrupted his time, he was unable to do so. Now, we saw a very interesting appearance by Better Than You, baby, Adam Cole and MJF. Now, as you know, MJF went through hell to get his title back, and of course, and all this and that. And Adam Cole said that, it pains him that he won't be there because he has to get himself healed up from his injury and all that. And of course, MJF understand. However, Samoa Joe showed up, who of course, MJF has to honor the deal. But Adam Cole had to, how do I say, try to reason with him. So Samoa Joe, on the other hand, gave him the perfect timing. He knows that he's battered. He knows that he's beat up. So he said that he wants him to be 100%. So he picked the time and date, and that time will be in World's End on December 30th. So I'm sure that gives MJF just more than enough time to heal up. Now, there was one thing I kind of right now remembered while reviewing this. We did see the devil laughing. Now, we don't know who it is. People are still saying it's MJF, but it could be anybody. I mean, a lot of people have done crazy things, but this is interesting. But we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we do see, of course, what was formerly of the JSA, JAS, Jericho Appreciation Society, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, Cool Hands, Angela Parker, and Jake Hager. They take on Hook, Katsuyori Shibata, and Orange Cassidy. However, because of what Wheeler Yuta did, apparently, Orange Cassidy decided, you know what, I'm going to make this as a surprise. And of course, we were surprised what he had to announce. He's back. He's very nice and very evil. That's right, Danhausen is back. As you know, he is good friends with both Orange Cassidy and Hook. It's great to see him back. We haven't seen him for almost 8 months. I'm sure that he's going to curse somebody, and I just wasn't too sure who. But it was a pretty good match. I mean, you have one team, all in fact, of course, champions. But one thing that was funny is Danhausen somehow obtained the purple hat that Jake Hager had. So basically, he cursed him until Orange Cassidy took him out. But one thing that was funny, or should I say more fascinating, is of course you have Shibata and Hook. They actually chokehold both Menard and Parker. However, Hook was supposed to get Parker as the legal man. So basically, both Shibata and had a swap. And I thought that was a fantastic moment until Orange Cassidy gave an arm punch to Jake Hager and they pick up the win. I have to say, it's a good start seeing a pretty good, decent team. Now, our next interview, Adam Cole, as you know, he is prepared to get his surgery that he's been getting. Here comes Strong with the Kingdom. But, of course, Adam Cole is not happy because basically he was kidnapped by them. And, of course, he told him to shut up, that he is no longer his best friend. So, we could see a feud between those two. Now, in the ring, we saw the so-called Christian Cage with his usual thing. Apparently, he's saying that Luchasaurus was the reason they lost. So, he decided to rename Luchasaurus, now called Kill Switch. And then he looks at Wayne, calling him the Prodigy. Nick's mom showed up out of the blue, tried to reason with them, but of course Christian Cage, who was saying if you play your cards right, like he wants her to be by his side, but until then. But of course, Kill Switch tried to defend her, but all of a sudden she got knocked out. And then of course, Christian Cage, with his despicable moment, he wanted to hit her with the concerto, but luckily Adam Copeland showed up to help out, speared both Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. But however, Nick Wayne ended up on the wrong side of the concerto by Edge, but Edge had tunnel vision. Apparently, Nick's mom, Shannon, had to watch this right in front of him. So basically, as you know, this was all Christian Cage's fault because he let this happen. So he wanted him to see, look what you make me do. So I don't know what Nick's mom is going to think of this, but Christian Cage has no one but at fault at this. So we'll see where this leads us. Now, of course, like always, when it comes to what was former members of the Jericho Appreciation Society, they kept arguing and bickering after losing their match. But Anna Jay would say, "This is all about me, folks. I'm being a triple threat match." So basically, as you know, she is determined to win. So she's not sure who she can trust at the moment. But we all know what's going on with Parker. His Goo Eyes is with Ruby Soho. So we don't know what's going to happen because she will be in a triple threat match with Sky Blue and Ruby Soho. So I've got it curious to see how that rolls up. Now, our next match we have is another Continental Classic match, still continuing with the Gold League. We have El Toro Blanco Rouge taking on Jay White. Now, I'm sure many of you would think that Jay White may not be 100% after all the hell that he put himself through in that on the AEW World Title match against MJF. You know, Rouge, he is a violent person. He doesn't play by anybody's rules. He doesn't even give a damn about you or anybody. So basically, he could do whatever he wants. But you know that he probably knows MJF does not. Jay White does not have. He's not 100%. But however, of course, at some points, even though he does not have the As Boys by his side, he decided to low blow Rouge without the ref noticing it. But he was able to apply the Blade Runner, and 1, 2, 3, it was over right from there. Now, after a media scrum match event that happened after Full Gear, Chris Jericho reminded them that they do get a shot of the AEW World Tag Team titles, him and Kenny Omega. But of course, Bill and Starks attacked him and tried to take out the Judas Effect arm out of him. But we don't know what's the extent of that. But we will see where it leads us from there. Now, of course, we have like a bit of a ceremony or award. As you know, Toni Storm regained the AEW Women's title, and it was presented to her by none other than her biggest fan, Mariah May. So she did her little speech and all that, but however, someone decided to, I don't give a damn about it, decided to interrupt and start her match. We're talking about Sky Blue, who just walked in there like without a care in the world. I don't know what Sky Blue's intent, but I wouldn't be surprised if she goes for the AEW World title. That's something we could definitely see. However, she has to contend against Anna Jay and Ruby Soho at the same time. I mean, the match was okay, but of course, the storyline was continuing on with, of course, Parker with his goo eyes on Ruby Soho. But however, it was Sky Blue who applied a cutter on Anna Jay to pick up the win. So once again, the whole the love story continues on. I'm sure Anna Jay is gonna be pissed. I'm sure Saraya is gonna be pissed too. So we're gonna be like seeing a lot of different angles on that. But for Sky Blue, I think, in my opinion, we could see a bit of a rivalry with Toni Storm for the AEW Women's title. That's something we could definitely see down the line. Now, there is one question that many people ask about Wardlow. Now, we know his intent. He wants the AEW World title. He wants to end the Devil's reign. But the obvious question was, when is it going to happen? So Renee Paquette decided to ask him that question herself. So, according to Wardlow, it's going to happen on his time. But, of course, AR Fox, who basically got in his face and got headbutted. So we could see a match between those two. Now our main event is the last from the start of the Continental Classic Gold League. We have Mark Briscoe taking on Jon Moxley. I think this match was pretty bloody, gruesome, and violent like any other person. I mean, it was a pretty darn one. But however, I was like, wow, pretty good. But in the end, it was Jon Moxley with the Death Rider onto Mark Briscoe to pick up the win. So right now, at the start of the tournament in the Gold League, we have Strickland Jay White and Moxley, they all three get 3 points. So this is a good start, but keep in mind, we're not done yet. There's still time for the other wrestlers who haven't picked up their first win just yet. Hopefully they can catch up, but we will see in time how that rolls up. So I think that's pretty much it with all the reviews at this time. Let's move on with news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for all of you. Now, as you know, every year GCW puts out this thing called the Collective, which they have multiple shows that happens around WrestleMania week. Now, on certain occasions, when it comes to the Collective, they'll have promotions to be part of that for that particular year. Like we had Black Label Pro, AEW, Shimmer. I forgot who else. Other promotions. However, it turns out that it was announced DEFY, Seattle promotion DEFY Wrestling, are now joining Collective for 2024. And I think this is a very interesting thing. So we will see, of course, DEFY wrestlers be around. So I can't wait to see that. Now, more matches have been announced for the Ladies Night Out event that takes place on the 26th of this month, which is, of course, this coming weekend. We have Camille taking on Hollywood Haley. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Now, as you know, I keep reporting about KAOZ, the Lucha Libre promotion KAOZ, about the roster for 2024. And once again, they just announced another wrestler involved, this time a women's wrestler. Kara, hopefully I pronounced it right. Kara will be involved. So who knows how much more roster will be added. Now, interesting enough, if you guys saw recently on a SmackDown event, Axiom appeared. Now, according to reports coming from PW Insider, apparently Axiom will continue to appear in NXT. But however, there are indications that he made a good impression with the main roster. So it's only a matter of time until Axiom will probably get called to the main roster, and there's talks of possibly putting him in SmackDown. So we'll see how that rolls up from there. Now, for the start of 2024, as I mentioned, Prestige Wrestling has announced for the Roseland show, Roseland 7, there's going to be a 4-way match involving for the Prestige title. Alex Shelley defends his belt against 3 other people. Now, one of them is, of course, Alan Angels that was announced. And then after that, it was later Kevin Blackwood announced as the 3rd participant. However, the 4th, this one's an interesting one. It's none other than Alex Shelley's tag team partner and fellow Detroit, Chris Sabin. So it's going to be interesting to see. So I can't wait to see how this is going to go down. Now, North Carolina promotion, Deadlock Pro Wrestling announced for the 2A event that will take place on the 10th of December. However, they announced there's going to be a title match, and this is for the women's title. Emi Sakura defends her belt, but this time she defends it against Miyuki Takase. Now, according to what Deadlock announced, will be Miyuki Takase's 2nd attempt for this belt. So I'm sure she was unable to do it the first time, so we'll see where that goes from there. Now, GCW has announced for the Highest in the Room event that will take place very soon on December 9th. Ani El Bandito will be making his debut, so can't wait to see how that rolls up. Now, Scott Edwards, you may have known him from Fightful Select, Voices Wrestling. He normally covers the Joshi wrestling stuff. He put an interesting thing about the Joshi tag teams involved in the PWI, the Pro Wrestling Illustrator. This is who he put the ones that have been on the list, on the 100 of that. Coming up at number 10, we have 7 Up, consistent, of course, of Yu and Nanane Takahashi. Male tier at number 13. I'm very happy for that. Number 15, New Eras, consistent of Ami Suri and Mirai. Then we have Body Body Bombers. Prominence at 28. On number 29, we have Natsupoi and Sayuri Onoi. Number 32, the Magical Sugar Rabbits. Yep. Number 36, FWC, Koguma and Azuki. Number 59, Team 200 Kilogram, which is Yu and Chihiro Hashimoto. Number 75, 128 million, which is, of course, Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita. And then finally, at 88, Free Wi-Fi, Hikari Noa and Naoki Kuna. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the teams they have in there. Yeah, I feel like these are the strongest teams we've seen so far. But we'll see what else they'll throw in. So I think that's pretty much it right now for all of our news updates and reviews. I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up now, as you know, we have Thursday Wrestling. I have been aware that there's going to be MLW and Ring of Honor. Now, the Impact Wrestling, that's a different story. Now, on certain occasions, they'll throw in some matches if that's the case. If not, they'll then throw in some clips from other matches and all that. I'm not 100% sure. So I will keep my options open on that. However, I did find out that we do have more on the World Tag League by New Japan. I will be doing that. That will be a top priority for everything. I haven't decided yet. I will be continue on with more, but we'll just wait and see what happens from here on out. So I think that's pretty much it for now. I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.